tending my backyard hens and my family's vegetable garden. This is Daisy. We think that she has endocrine disruption. Although she was in her prime, she quit laying eggs after a major gas release occurred in our neighborhood. When Chesapeake set up operations in our Fish Creek neighborhood in Arlington, Texas, a suburban neighborhood between Fort Worth and Dallas, named for the creek that runs through our community, our life was shattered. I now spend a great deal of my time, as Sharon just said, monitoring gas drill sites, attending city council meetings, talking to the media, blogging and tweeting. I started the Fish Creek Monitor blog to raise awareness and bring positive change to my corner of the world. While few of us knew it at the time, fracking in Arlington, Texas began on October 23rd, 2007. That is when our city amended its 1,200-page zoning ordinance to allow gas drilling in neighborhood zoned residential. These neighborhood units consist of homes, schools, churches, and parks. Commercial, agriculture, or auto uses are not permitted, but gas drilling is allowed. Our city decided that gas drilling is compatible with residential living. So in 2008, when the landmen told our community that we would never know they were here, they would be miles away. This was not true. Drilling rigs soon went up next to homes, schools, churches, because the ordinance had already changed to allow for this. The problem is, we didn't know. Our city first talked about this in 2003 and changed the ordinance on October 23rd, 2007, while few were paying attention. One lovely spring in 2010, I was headed to the grocery store when I witnessed my first frack job. It took my breath away, literally. It was hard to breathe, and it smelled really bad. I felt disoriented. I knew life would never be the same again. That scene left a permanent imprint on my mind, and I became an anti-fracking evangelist from that day on, speaking to people all around the world. See Meet the Frackers, an Australian documentary on the Fish Creek Monitor blog, and also Italy will be airing a fracking documentary this weekend. On April 11th, my family was gassed. A strong thunderstorm blew through DFW in the middle of the night, causing widespread power outages. Since the storm brought a welcomed cool front, I opened all the windows in our home and I went back to sleep. Around 2 in the morning, we awoke to loud, continuous roaring sounds. Something was wrong at the gas drill site 2 blocks from our home. I called 911, but it was clear to me that the city had no emergency response plan in place for gas drilling related issues. The 911 operator said they had to call into Chesapeake, Fox guarding the hen house. Meanwhile, gas was spewing for an hour, and it filled our home 1,500 feet away. It had a foul, dirty odor. Not only did the gas fill our home, but it covered the streets like a heavy blanket. I will share Chesapeake's email response to me about this incident. 99.9% of the gas was methane, ethane, nitrogen, and carbon dioxide, all odorless and equal to approximately a dozen backyard barbecue propane tanks. $26 worth of gas was released, and at no time was any individual or property in danger because of this incident. I still wonder if our neighborhood could have exploded that night since the gas settled heavily upon the area. That Chesapeake spokesman now works for the city of Arlington. Seriously. The following day, after that gas release, Chesapeake applied for 6 additional gas wells at a public hearing at City Hall. I assumed the city would deny their request because of the huge gas release the night before. I was wrong. They approved the wells with a vote of 5-4, despite the fact that many neighbors, including myself, spoke in opposition. Sorry, having technical difficulties here. One of the most upsetting things about fracking is how the industry uses massive quantities of water and destroys it forever. In August of 2011, during our Texas epic drought, I noticed a hose hooked up to a fire hydrant and a tanker truck activity at the neighborhood drill site. Curious about what they were doing, I called our city's gas drilling coordinator. I will share this with you. He said they were sucking water out of the frack pond to take it to another city that was on water restriction, and that they were refilling the frack pond from the fire hydrant. I reported this to a local news reporter, and she came out right away and aired a big story on the news that night. The reporter revealed that Chesapeake was in violation for taking that water over the city line. They received a $2,000 fine, slap on the wrist. I cannot stress how important it is to be observant of your surroundings. Little did I know this was going to be a breaking news story. More stories from that doozy of a summer may be found on the Westchester Gazette's blog. One is titled, "What the Quack is Going On?" and the other, "Oh My." My gratitude goes out to both Sharon Wilson and the Westchester Gazette for encouraging me to launch our community blog. This is what Chesapeake must consider best industry practices. After a frack job in December 2011, this water was released into our city storm drain. They did this because there are no laws prohibiting it. Find more about this story on Texas Sharon's blog called "What is Chesapeake Doing?" at this Barnett Shale gas well in Arlington, Texas, and the Westchester Gazette blog post, "The Holiday Blowback Extravaganza." According to the United States Geological Survey, underground mining causes subsidence. Early on in the school year, we had a neighborhood sinkhole at the parking lot entrance of my child's school. When I discovered that a horizontal well bore was drilled and fracked 9,000 feet below the approximate location of that sinkhole, I called the Railroad Commission. Their inspector came out, looked at it, and Javier, a school district employee, shoveled dirt in the sinkhole and paved over it. We hope it holds. Search for this story called "The Barnett Sinkhole" on the Fish Creek Monitor blog. Over the Thanksgiving holiday, we witnessed the shale gas industry making a mess in our residential communities. It looked war-torn. Boots Smith, a subcontractor from Mississippi, was conducting horizontal directional boring operations under our suburban neighborhoods to install gas gathering transmission pipelines. These pipelines will transport non-odorized gas through our communities. There are no city ordinances or state laws regulating the pipeline boring operation in this area. We hope these pipelines, made in Korea and Taiwan, will hold up for a long time. There are a lot of ups and downs with this issue. Just recently, we experienced a major disappointment with the outcome of the Rocking Horse Grill site, despite the countless hours we spent talking to neighbors, attending city council meetings, talking to the media, and blogging about it. This site was a controversial one since it is located 359 feet from a child care facility. Our gas drilling ordinance mandates a 600-foot setback from protected use. Unfortunately, they allow people to sign waivers granting permission to reduce the setback. Oftentimes, money is paid to the individual who signs, and in some cases, the property owner does not even have to live there. In this particular case, the property owner for the daycare facility who signed that waiver is in South Carolina. I would like to say thank you for this opportunity to share my story. There is so much more to say about suburban gas drilling, and I did not even mention the health effects. So if you have any questions, please feel free to talk with me later or contact me at fishcreekneighbor@gmail.com. So in closing, what does the future hold for Arlington, Texas, a city that is 99 square miles with a population of 370,000 people and over 55 shale gas drill sites, each containing multiple wells? With the potential for 400 additional wells, all we can hope to do at this point is stop the build-out. The questions are, do we stay and fight all of this, or do we go? And where do we go when this is happening in over 30 states across our nation?